Hi, these comments are for FJ. This is Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com. You're one of my TOEFL writing, speaking feedback students over at my website, and I'm listening to a speaking practice session you emailed me a couple of days ago. So I have the rubrics here. I'm looking at them. I'm going to listen to your response right now. Okay, here we go.
I had the opportunity to interview one famous person. It would be my mom. The reason is that I consider her as a strong and intelligent woman. I would have a lot of questions for her. First, I would ask her, where did she get the courage to take care of herself, raise two children, and also take care of her entire family, even though she
Good
was the
questions.
youngest? Second, I would like to ask her, how did she stay focused without the support of a husband? The last, how did she deal with losing a member of her family or losing money from her business?
Okay, thank you for completing the practice test. So, my first impression is you're probably right around 15 points out of 30. That would be my estimate right now. So, I'm thinking that the issue of who you would interview, a famous person, you're kind of talking about a present impossible situation. Means that you wouldn't have the opportunity to interview the person, but if you did, who would it be? Your mother is somebody, unless she's passed, if she has already passed or died, you're not able to talk to her, but if she's still alive, it's probably not appropriate to pick her because our parents typically are not famous people. Maybe to us, they might seem famous, but most people, for example, don't know my parents. Only people within my family and extended family know my parents. So just that the actual topic choice is not, I think, appropriate based on the topic that you're trying to discuss here. Okay, let's listen to it one more
I
time.
had the opportunity to interview one famous person. It would be my mom. The reason is
I
that
would
I
just put because, not the reason is. So if I had the opportunity to interview somebody, it would be my mom because, and then just state the rest of the sentence there.
consider her as a strong and intelligent woman. I would have a lot of questions for her. First,
Maybe instead of saying I would have, say, in fact, I would have a lot of questions for her. Maybe use the word in fact or indeed to help emphasize that idea.
I would ask her, where did she get the courage?
I would ask her where she got the courage. So you're taking a question with verb, subject, word order. You're embedding it to create a complex sentence. You want to use statement. I would ask her where she got the courage. So noun clauses need to take statement, not question word order.
To take care of herself, raise two children, and also take care of her entire family, even though she was the youngest. Second,
That would probably it. I would take those ideas and develop them in more detail. You have three questions, three things you want to ask her, but you're not able to present a lot of concrete detail because of those three things. So maybe focus around one important question you would ask and maybe why that is an important question.
I would like to ask her, how did she stay focused?
I'd like to ask her how she stayed focused, not how did she stay focused. So again, you want to use the noun clause with statement word order.
Without the support of a husband. The last, how did she deal
Maybe
with
say finally, I would say I would ask her
losing
how she dealt with losing.
a member of her family
Notice a
or
member of her. You want to make sure you're pronouncing the H there. Now there are instances, for example, the word our, we don't pronounce the H, but in many cases we do. So it's her, not
Losing money from her business.
Okay, let's get to the feedback now. I've written down some things I want to talk about and maybe even do some practice exercises. So hopefully you got some free time here. Okay, so I gave you a score of 15 out of 30 points. So let's take a look at delivery, language use, and topic development. And I've also integrated some exercises in here I want to practice with you. You can kind of practice with me when you see the video. Okay, delivery, fluency, pronunciation, intonation. Your speaking rate is still too slow, which makes the response sound hesitant and unnatural. You want to group words into longer thought groups and speak them smoothly without pausing too much. So work on your intonation. Use a half pitch rise at the end of a non-final thought group and a full pitch fall at the end of a sentence. This helps your speech sound more natural and easier to follow. Now remember that if you go back, FJ, if you go to better TOEFL scores, you'll see when you go to the speaking course, go to the pronunciation uh, link and practice. Once you get to the pronunciation area, I want you to practice intonation part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think that's going to be important. And also practice thought groups and blending, pronunciation lessons 41 through 44. Okay, let's take a look at the practice exercise. So I want you to read and record this sentence into 3 thought groups, applying the correct pitch movements. Now, you can also compare. You can compare your recording to mine right now. You might want to pause the video right now. Here it is. Even though she was nervous, she gave a powerful presentation and everybody applauded at the end. So if you kind of look at what we're talking about here, let's take a look at it. So you can see that we have a pause here. We have a pause here. Now notice, I want you to slightly increase the pitch like this. So you'll say, even though she was nervous, she gave a powerful presentation and everybody applauded at the end. So at the end of the sentence, you need to fall with the tone a little bit. So mark your pauses, then gradually reduce them while keeping the pitch variations. It means try to increase the length of your thought groups. That way you have fewer pauses. This helps you to improve your fluency and your intonation. Okay, let's talk about language use. Grammar, word choice, accuracy. So avoid awkward and redundant phrases like the reason is because. Instead, you can say the reason is that, or simply just put because. So my mom, if I wanted to interview an important person, I'd like to interview my mom. Instead of saying the reason is because, just say I want to interview my mom because, and then state the reason. Watch out for noun clauses. This tells me you have some limitations with your language use. So when you embed a question into a sentence, use statement word order, not question word order. So you see the examples here? Incorrect would be, I would ask her, where did she get the courage? It would be correct to say, I would ask her where she got the courage. So you need to get used to the statement word order with noun clauses. Now, I know if this is its own sentence, you would say, where did she get the courage? How did she complete that project so quickly? Right? If you're using it as an independent clause, you do want to have that auxiliary versus subject versus main verb word order. In another instance, you did show nice parallelism using several verb phrases. I think this helps strengthen your sentence rhythm, so keep building on that. The only problem was in that sentence that you said, it was just you were speaking a little too slowly. Okay, how about this, FJ? Can you practice for a minute? You might want to pause the video. I want you to correct these sentences. She told me, what did she want to do? The reason is because I was late. I don't know where is he going. So take a minute and correct those sentences. Okay, now let's look at the corrected versions here. She told me what she wanted to do. The reason is that I was late. I don't know where he is going. So these are the corrected version of those sentences here. Okay, let's talk about topic development. I mentioned this in the audio feedback earlier as I was listening to the recording. I think with topic development, I think you can improve the clarity, the support, and the focus. I think these are three areas that's going to help you to improve your score in this area. Your ideas were understandable but lack concrete details. You need to give specific examples or reasons to support your main point. For instance, if you talk about someone being brave, describe the situation clearly. What happened, when, and how they responded. Also, try to narrow your focus. I think this is important here. Instead of covering multiple general ideas, I think you mentioned 3 specific questions within your response. Maybe focus on one thing you'd ask the famous person, one specific question you'd like to ask, and then build on that for 45 seconds. So it says here, instead of covering multiple general ideas, choose one specific situation and explain why and explain it in more depth. This will make your response stronger and easier to follow. So what you're trying to do here is under topic development, it says response is sustained and sufficient to the task. It is generally well developed and coherent. Relationships between ideas are clear. So in order to develop, I think your ideas better and to get a higher score in the topic development area is to limit your focus. That's what I'm saying. Okay, here's a practice exercise for you now, FJ. Focus and detail. So choose one of these prompts and answer it in 45 seconds. Then listen and check. Right, so here's the prompt. Talk about a time someone inspired you. What did they do? How did it affect you? Now think about it. Did you give one clear example? Did you explain why it matters? Did you use concrete details? Who, what, when, where, how? Think about those things. So overall, I'm giving you a score of 15 points out of 30 on this. So if I break it down, and nobody knows exactly how ETS scores their practice test, I'm giving you 3 points out of 10 on delivery, 6 points out of 10 on language use, and then 6 points out of 10 on topic development for the reasons that you see there. All right, so keep practicing, and remember, focus on speaking more naturally, using accurate grammar, and providing specific examples. And thank you for completing this assignment. Now, anybody at YouTube, can you guys do me a favor? Subscribe and like the video if you like it. And remember that there's a lot of people out there that are making a lot of similar mistakes. Take this video and post it. Post it in social media. Let's make sure people are not making these specific mistakes when they're taking the TOEFL speaking part of the test.